Jigawa State Government has uncovered about 7,000 ghost workers in the state. Consequently, they have been removed from the state's payroll. Actually, they have to be removed. This was revealed by the Commissioner for Finance, Hanatu Sabo, during a press briefing in Duse when marking the 2 years of Governor Omar Namadi. According to the Commissioner, those identified as ghost workers never appeared for verification. Hence, they were removed from the state's payroll. The fake employees were removed from the payroll as they failed to report for the verification exercise. The government's commitment to transparency and accountability has also been demonstrated through the verification exercise and the removal of ghost workers from the payroll. She emphasized that the exercise was an arm of the larger strategy of the government to clean the civil service and exterminate false salary claims. The commissioner explained that Jigawa remains one of the very few states completely implementing the new salary scale, making it one of the highest paying states in Nigeria, and added that the state government is now receiving higher monthly allocation from the federal government, which would further enhance revenue generation and fast-tracking developmental projects. In terms of salary payment, she said the government does so promptly, hence civil servants are paid before the 25th of each month as directed by the governor. We know there are some states that actually wait for the next month to make payments of salary. In this instance, where Jigawa has decided to be one of the best in salary payments, as they have stated, and, putting the civil servants in utmost consideration. Why is there still high rate of ghost workers?
First, we must appreciate the fact that we have so many graduates in this country who are unemployed. And we also must appreciate the fact that there's high rate of poverty in the country. Now, persons want to do anything to earn a living. And we also should understand the political factors in our country, where some persons feel by means of empowerment, they enroll somebody into the payroll. The person keeps receiving money without working for it, just by way of empowerment in their own assessment. Now, so the ghost worker of a thing, or the ghost working happening in our country, is not tied to the payment, prompt payment or salary, but rather the fact that those in power wants to use it to empower their persons. But that now renders a whole lot of persons unemployed, because the openings that persons who are alive, persons who are known to gainfully or be gainfully employed, would have been stolen away to persons who are not in existence. And these persons are paid on monthly basis, thereby depriving other persons, other unemployed graduates out there who would have been given that opportunity to work. And it has also cost a very low output in the working of the local government, the state, as the case may be. So because if you have so many persons in your payroll as workers, and these persons are not there on ground to work, it means that you will not deliver productively as much as they would have delivered. And that will also affect the revenue to be generated from that parastatal, from that department, as the case may be. So all of this put together affects negatively our revenue generation. It affects negatively our output at work.
Okay, I'm trying to think out loud in this situation of civil servants, civil service, where there's oftentimes we hear states that are calling out ghost workers scenario and all of that. We know there's certain departments in the civil service, and they have the head, the chief in charge, the MD, or whatever the parastatal, whatever the position is in that department, that actually gets reports on the activities in that particular department. Yes. He is the one that is in charge of the in as much as the salaries is being received from the government. I'm sure they have a body that oversee the payments of salaries, isn't it?
Yes.
So if that situation is there already accepted, already generated, already instituted, how come there's still that high rate of ghost ghost workers. Yes, if there are people that oversee the payment of the salaries and the activities of the outputs, like you stated.
Now, first, you must appreciate that the persons, be them director or as case may be, will not be on ground to know how many persons that are reporting to work. Now, they will rely on someone to report to them if Mr. A, Mr. B have not been coming to work. And in cost of payment of salary, it's no longer, we're no longer in the era where they bring cash to you in an envelope that this is your salary for the month, in which form you will be able to see the person you are paying. Now, this is the time where they now pay it electronically to your account directly. So they don't need to see the person that they are paying. All they need to see just the account details, and they are paying the person. So they will not be able to scrutinize to the point of who am I paying. So long as the person's name is in the payroll, they pay the person. It's more like an automated payment system. So that's what happened. That is why they may not be able to monitor down to that point. And the persons who submit these names, because of the self-interest, or should I say, self-benefit they gain, they will not also come and tell you, the director, that these 100 persons in the list are ghost workers. They are not in existence. You cannot also rule out the fact that it's also possible that the head of that department may also be aware of the fact that there are persons who are not on ground working, who may likely be his own persons. And there's also a possibility that the person there may have just fixed his name and then siphoned that money to himself. These are possibilities that we must not rule out. And that is why it's difficult to actually tie it down to somebody as one being responsible for the ghost workers in that department.
So these individuals, let's say allegedly, will generate names, informations about people that are not in service. Are there no monitoring teams, or what do you call it, inspection teams in this? I don't have idea what it's like in the civil service, or how it works, but I know there should be inspection teams, although that was what they actually did, that they had to find out that there were about 7,000 ghost workers. I thought they supposed to have like a monthly or mid-year monitoring inspection team to oversee the affairs of a particular office in that instance.
Of course, there are such monitoring or inspection team, but how often do they work? That's another question to be able to answer. How often do they work? And now, inspection is different from accreditation. Let us differentiate the two.
Okay.
Now, someone comes, gives a notice, I'm coming to inspect so-and-so department on so-and-so day. What do you expect? The notice has been given, because you have to give notice. That notice has been given. They call their person, they call more, inspector is coming, they are coming to inspect this environment. And now, by that inspection, the person is only coming to see what they are doing on ground and not to determine how many of the workers, according to the list submitted to them, are in the office. It's just to see that the work assigned to these persons are done diligently, to see the document, the report, to match it with what is being done, if work is actually being done. That is all they do. They did not go there to check how many persons. If, for example, let's say local government have 500 workers, they are not going to inspect to see the 500 workers. It's only during accreditation that these 500 workers can be called upon to come and confirm their details, if indeed they are workers or civil servants with the government. So they still manipulate these things, not as though the body is not there for this inspection. They have often conducted that inspection, but always manipulate it.
So what do you think has to be done to not have continuous situations like this? And then, like you stated from the beginning, that it also increases the rate of unemployment. Imagine graduates that have so much skills to want to share out there in the society, not given the opportunity because of the ulterior motive of certain individuals.
Now, first, there's another practice I need to quickly mention, still in cause of this. There are persons who are business owners, possibly doing well in their business, in their own right, but who still feel they have this who feel this entitlement mentality that the government should provide job for them. Why they go about their daily business, they see secure employment in the government parastatal, and they will never report to work. All they want just to be receiving that salary at the end of the month. These can as well be categorized as ghost workers. ghost workers should not just be limited to persons who are in non-existent. There are actually existent persons, but are not working. They are doing their business, they are making cool money in their business, but they have taken a space in the government as though employed as a civil servant. Whereas there are persons out there who are not into business and have no employment, and who would have ordinarily been given that opportunity. So these are also ghost workers in one part. So let's just not rule them out entirely. Now, as for what should be done, I feel the government should be able to, if they want to employ, they should know for sure the persons they are giving this employment are persons who actually should be employed. Because whether I like it or not, we are trying to cut down poverty rates. And one of the ways we can cut down poverty rates is by providing means of employment. If an environment is provided and it's made them enable, there's an enabling environment for business to thrive, and persons have gone into business, these persons could make a choice not to be employed again in the civil service, or forgo the business to be employed. Or in a better way, they can gain the employment and then probably employ persons to, to handle the business, and not for you to be here and then deprive the productivity you should have offered to the government in one end and keep receiving salary whereas you are not working as employed. So I don't know, but the government can ensure that those who are assigned the duty of inspection, they enlarge their scope, the scope of their duty to the extent of determining the number of workers that are reporting to work as should be, in line with the list of workers they have in that department.
Okay, so that in that way it can reduce the issue of the ghost workers situation.
It will drastically reduce, because those, by the time they do the inspection maybe twice in a month, and you cannot sacrifice those two days, and they should also do that without notice, because the moment you give notice, they will go and inform themselves. So you can just report unannounced and then see those who are on ground, because there is no schedule saying that you should work today and don't work tomorrow, save for public holiday. For civil servant, so long as you are employed, you report to work every working day. So if you go to that person unannounced, I'm sure you'll be able to meet persons who are not on ground for work, but their name may have been endorsed to have reported to work on that day.
Well, we got your thoughts on that, Mr. Barrister Harry. Although I'm trying to think if I heard that. You made mention of reporting to the department, particular department that is due for inspection, and they get the notice and want to clear the table and put things in place. How about if the people that send out notice are also part of the people they're reporting to? How would that work?
If the people that send a notice of the inspection,
the board, for the inspection are also, I'm just, in that thought. How would that be, sorted out?
If the persons to be reported to are the ones sending the notice of inspection, and they've ceased sending notice for inspection and just send the team instead to go and inspect, of course they will still be taken unaware.
Do you understand what I mean?
Maybe I should understand.
I mean, if you're saying that people that are in particular departments that get information about inspection, verification exercise and all of that, and they get to, alter the name sheets and whatever the situation may be, we know what that meant. That is a crime situation in the legal aspect. The ones that send out the notice, what if part of them, they also work hand in hand in that instance? Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. If they no longer send such notice, it means that they should ordinarily not know that a team of, an inspection team will be coming. So in the event that they get to know, it means one of the members to go for the inspection would have, leaked the secret.
Okay.
And they should be able to fish out the person within themselves. And that person should be properly punished for it, so that others can be deterred from doing that. Because we must get it right. It is difficult in Nigeria to get these things right, but we should try to get it right. And it starts from the head, because most times you have an interest to protect. Sometimes not by your direct benefit, but because someone you know is involved and you don't want the person to be affected. You try to shield the person. We should open our mind enough to know that if we get it wrong, even our own children and grandchildren will also be affected by it. So let's try to get it right.